they're trying to cater too much to the casual player, and I don't think that's what gaming should represent. Gaming's competitive. I don't play sports and want the team that's better than me to not be able to use their left leg. I don't. That's what it is. It's making good players bad. I've never seen something so backwards thinking in all my life, and that's the same for any game.
Welcome to the 5th episode of the Pew Pew podcast. Today's guest, the first controller player I have on the podcast, Trzppy. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, bro. Yeah?
Chilling. Well, you're a content creator, you're a comp player, you have the most kills on XDefiant as well. I would say you're pretty much one of the most underrated people I've had so far. How what's your background? How'd you get to this point?
I mean, COD's the common starting point for all players that play like FPS games in general. So, 16-year-old me playing Infinite Warfare, pub stomping constantly. I think my peak was like 8th in the world for hardpoint or something, and I kept playing, kept competing. That's when I kind of fell in love with with FPS games in general. So, controller player all my life, not afraid to say it. But yeah, so XDefiant came round, and it was a couple of friends that had suggested that I try it, so I tried it, and here we are.
And here we are, indeed. And XDefiant, because when did you decide that like you were gonna grind this? Like, did you just instantly fall in love with the game, or like how was your relationship with XDefiant?
I mean, I played, so I had I got an EU code through my emails, so I went, you know what, bored, nothing was out, gaming was dry when I started playing, so I was like, you know what, I'll play it. Played it, and I was like, this is like, the movement's slick, the gunplay is like unreal. I love this. And the playtest back then were 3 hours long, and I was like, I need to go to someone and get an extra code. So my friend Ren, shout out to Ren, had a spare NA code, so I would play a 3-hour PTS from 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock GMT, and then I would have a break for 2 hours, and then I would go play the NA test for 3 hours and scrim against other players in the community for 3 hours. So I would play for 6 hours, and I'd go to bed at 3:30 in the morning with like getting up at work at 6:30 in the morning. So I was dedicated to the grind. There's a lot of people in the NA community that kind of respected that, I guess. So I kind of got my name out, and it's still sort of towards NA players. I have a better relationship with NA players than I do EU, just because I know more Americans than I do Europeans.
But that makes it that you play on higher ping a lot of the times, no? If you decide to play with those NA players.
Yeah, so I was playing on like sometimes 130 ping, and that was challenging. A lot of people will argue that it's a benefit, and I disagree. Being on the receiving end, playing against good players on high ping is very difficult. And I've made this point on Twitter lots of times. I've made this point on stream lots of times. Made plenty of discussions on it with people in the scene as well.
Do you think that XDefiant is like a really like ping dependent game, or can you kind of deal with it?
It's very player dependent. It's dependent on the role you play, more so in comp. Like, okay, if you're an AR player, you are going to be punished because you hold angles. The SMG players will take the space, and you'll hold the angle with an AR. And for me, that's my job, take the space. But if I want to take the space and hold it for half a second, rather than having to swing out and push something and peek first all the time, I can't change up my gameplay, and I can't be unpredictable. I have to be. That's my style of play, unpredictability. Nobody knows where I'm going to go. Nobody knows what I'm going to do. You know, I can pick up somebody's shotgun off the floor and run around with it, or I can hold an angle, or I can jump off a box. Do you know, it's unpredictability I thrive on. So it's playing to your strengths, not your weaknesses. So me having to be predictable is a weakness to me. That's why I negatively dislike ping. A lot of people know that I don't like it, but
and
it's
obviously that being unpredictable is linked in with the movement. What do you know? What's your thoughts on the overall movement? Because I know there were some changes. I don't know if it was accidental or not, but during the last beta, there was like a change where they kind of nerfed it. You know, what do you think the movement should be?
To me, it taken me a couple games. I think a lot of people notice a difference if you play on stretch, because I play on stretch res, so the gameplay feels a lot faster to me, and that's like possibly why I play so quick. But the movement itself, like the sliding and the jumping and stuff, did feel a bit clunkier. But I think that's server related. I'm not even 100% sure. I think they then noticed that there was an issue with the movement, and the movement did get sort of half nerfed. But the movement itself, more so in the last test, was definitely different. However, I didn't really see it affect my gameplay too much. I just kind of played around it and played off it. Everybody else had the same issue. It wasn't as if like I lost my thumbs overnight and it just kind of disappeared. But it was more like everybody else has got this issue, so I'll play through it as well. But the movement itself, like the speed, like my MP7's full movement speed. I just run and dive.
The speed at which you can do things. And I was surprised when I seen your gameplay, because I thought it was a keyboard thing only, right? I usually something like Apex, for example, where keyboard sometimes, because of the way the inputs are, right, and you just like press WASD. The way the inputs are, sometimes there's certain movements that like it's just easier on keyboard, and on controller it's harder. But I seen controller players do really like hard movement. Like I'm talking about, you guys are basically like, you know, Apex stop strafing, but just in XDefiant, and it's like a swift, like just what just like that. And I seen you do it all the time, and I find it fascinating that on controller you can do it, but I find it fascinating that the game also allows that.
Yeah, the fact that there isn't, so way back when in the Insider Session days, there was no jump fatigue, so there wasn't like I could just keep jumping. I could just jump and just jump and just jump.
You could just bunny hop forever.
Now it's 3 is your limit, but there's ways to reset it in certain scenarios if you're smart enough. Also, if you're close enough to somebody, just hip fire. The hipfire and XDefiant can be quite irregular, I feel, quite inconsistent, but it just depends on your gun, your loadout, as per anything else really, your hipfire spread and lasers and stuff like that. So it all just depends on play styles, I'd say. If you're an AR player, you're never going to be able to do the things that I can do, because I can't. You don't have a full, and if you have a full movement ACR, then good for you, but you won't be able to move as quick as I can, just because I've got a faster gun. Maybe I would shoot me before that point though, so I don't know.
No, but I mean I think that's a good thing though. I think that you know, having SMG is obviously a lighter weapon, right? And it makes sense that you can move faster and like basically have more movement when you have your gun. How do you call it? Your lighter gun compared to an AR player. But how do you think that this, you know, I'd say like, how do you think this compares to other games? For example, like COD, which is a comparison that people always make. How, you know, XDefiant is the new COD or the better COD or whatever. What do you think about that?
I think that argument stems from a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people want XDefiant to be COD, mainly because they're either below the curve or just below the COD. Whereas I want XDefiant to be XDefiant. I don't want XDefiant to be COD. Because if I wanted to play COD, I would put my time and my energy to play COD. I think the things that make XDefiant different, the modes, the maps are just traditional 3 lanes. 3 lanes control it. There's no like maps blowing up halfway through the game and I've got to like run to the other side of the map. No, none of that shit. I just need to run and shoot my gun and, you know, do what the arcade shooter should be. I think COD kind of stayed away from that and going for realism, like adding doors that you have to bash down and windows you can break, and it's like I just want to play the game. I just want to shoot my gun. Like I don't need all these intangibles, because then that's Battlefield, isn't it? Like, I think the mods and the maps, and obviously, like I'd be completely lying if I said there wasn't inspirations from COD and XDefiant.
That's
a given.
Yeah, that's normal. I mean, the devs themselves are part of them old COD players, so obviously they've inspired themselves from that.
Even the people who tested the game early on, COD pros, I played against them. Played against Pac-Man. I played against Aches. Like I've played them, like, and they play like it's COD because they've played COD forever. I play like it was COD. Like it's not something that you change. It's something that's transferable skills that you take from one game into another. There's loads of transferable skills that you can do in any game. And that's one of them. You play it like it's COD. High crosshair placement, move fast, move a lot. You know your reloads. You know when to reload. You know when to peek. You know when to hide. You know that all comes from playing COD as a kid. Like that all comes back to you. XDefiant does that very well. I think the maps are set up right. Yeah, there's so many positives about the game, but people want it to be COD, and it's never going to be that, because it's not made by Activision. it's not Infinity Ward. It's not. It's not.
I forgot
Treyarch,
the
Treyarch. It's not Raven. It's none of those. This is Ubisoft, so it's different. It's got a twist. However, there is obvious. There's obvious things that make it look like it's COD.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Do you think that XDefiant has a chance of overcoming COD, or do you think that it'll always be like its little niche thing?
I wish I had a crystal ball to be able to answer, but I think it depends on the clientele, because the more COD goes on, people buy the name, people buy the brand. Nobody buys the game. It's the name alone. If I was at Activision, I put Call of Duty XDefiant, everybody would buy it. Doesn't matter if it's a pile of garbage or not. People would still play it because it's in name. In name alone. If like that's just the way it is. And that's the way it's going to forever be, because it's a multi conglomerate. It's just that's how it's going to be. As much as I'd like COD to finally kind of have its downfall, I think its time is kind of past. They're trying to cater too much to the casual player, and I don't think that's what gaming should represent. Gaming's competitive. I don't play sports and want the team that's better than me to not be able to use their left leg. I don't. That's what it is. It's making good players bad. I've never seen something so backwards thinking in all my life, and that's the same for any game, and not even just COD. Skill-based matchmaking has completely changed gaming, and it's not for the better; it's for the worst. So,
do you think? So you think skill-based matchmaking, right? How do you think they should deal with it, right? Should they remove it as a whole and just go back to kind of how it was in the earlier days, or should they tweak it?
I think they should just remove it. Just straight up remove it and take it away, because if I want to, like, I can't even play FIFA as a casual anymore. I can't go on and play a game of FIFA. So I'm like an elite division player on FIFA. I can't go on and play a casual game of FIFA because I'll just get a sweat that hasn't left his room in 6 days, who's constantly constantly at it, and I can't come home and go, I want to play a game of FIFA. I can't do that. I can't play.
It's too stressful.
It's just too stressful. Like if I wanted to play somebody who is like is my level, I would go play ranked.
Yeah.
I'd go play ranked and climb the ladder. So the whole skill-based matchmaking just needs to go, and that's in gaming as a whole. I think
and then the
Reddit is strange,
separation,
so.
and then the separation, because I do think there's a lot of thought that comes to that, because I feel like then the separation is simply, are you playing the casual version or are you playing the ranked or competitive mode, whatever it's called. And I think that's really good, because it's just like, you want to play and chill and just have it and play with your friends and play the casual playlist. And you want to try hard and you want to get better and you want to fight actual good players and learn, then you play the competitive playlist.
Yeah.
I think it's a good separation. So in this case, skill-based matchmaking isn't needed, because either way, right? It just kind of kills the whole point of competitive playlist, because all your games are competitive.
Yeah.
Obviously you've grinded all the way to like being number one with kills. When you're up there, right? Who do you look up to? Like, do you have people that you look up to in the XDefiant community, that like you're like, I want to get, I don't know, as good as this guy, or I want to do what he does as good?
There's lots of players. There's lots of players that I played against. Lots of players that I know of. The three guys that I team with, I think, are the best players in the world. And I don't have to actually be paid to say that. That's just genuine, because I'm very competitive at heart. I can't play a game casually and not want to win everything, because I'm so competitive at heart. I'm graceful in defeat, but I will be disappointed if I lose. So I wouldn't play with these people if I didn't think that they were the best in their own right. So, I mean, those guys keep me going every day. So it's like watching them do well makes me go, you know what, I want a piece of that. I want to do that. So I want to do well. There's guys on the leaderboard as well. I mean, Cryptello is one of them. He always kind of keeps me kind of looking. I always go, oh, what's Cryptello on? Okay, yeah, he's doing all right. Let me try. Let me up my shit. And I'll go play. There's loads of guys in the NA. I mean, Digit, Gunny, Doppy, Ren, Pep. They're all big players. Vin, Clue. They're all amazing players. So I watch them quite a lot. I've watched the streams. I've played against them. I mean, the list goes on. I probably miss loads of people, but I think everybody's good at their own individual things. And the names I've mentioned, there's lots of variables. However, if it could be different depending on the day. Everybody has a good day, everybody has a bad day. So, but I look at everyone. Everybody's my competition all the time. So, yeah, there's plenty of people that go, or I'll come into my stream and go, I've killed you, and enjoy your L and this and that, and I'm just like, okay, bro, like, sleep well.
I'll get back. You'll get back.
And people that shoot my body, you would have seen it in my montage. In one of the clips, the guy was spraying my body the full game every time he killed me.
I did see that.
And then in one of the clips, I sprayed the rest of my mag into him, because if you shoot my body, expect me to come back. I've got that in me. So expect me to fire back, and it's always sweet. Never shoot my body, always play better. So
that I 100% feel. And in terms of to move kind of to the comp side, what do you expect for like XDefiant competitive scene? Is it, because I know there was talks about it. I think people wanted it 4v4, and some other people wanted it 5. Some people wanted it 6, because the game as a whole is played 6v6, right? But I know some people wanted less. What do you think about that? Like, what's your opinion on that?
5v5 is ideal. Maps aren't made for 4v4. The maps are too chaotic for comp 6v6. If 6 amazing players and 6 amazing players play against each other, the objective becomes pointless. It becomes a TDM. Because it's just, I need to kill him, or I kill one, dead, kill one, trade. It's just trades all the time. Whereas if you play 5v5, you've got a bit of space to work with. You've got, there's more area. 5v5 is the ideal scenario, and in my eyes, a lot of people will disagree with that, but I think 5v5 just suits the maps perfect. But then again, 5v5, I could be wrong. It could be something that's just 4v4, it's like Goldilocks. 6v6 too much, 4v4 too less, 5v5 just right. That's what I think.
That I mean, yeah, I feel like that's a fair thing. And do you think the rank system should kind of reflect the way comp works, or because I see a lot of games, right, where you have the rank system and then you have comp, and it's it's kind of two different entities. It's weird. Do you think XDefiant should try and make it as the ranked is like your ranked is your key to comp, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I played Siege competitively as well, and I mean the ranked in that game was completely different to comp. Played completely differently. I played ranked, and I was like a high plat one, like almost diamond player, and I played scrims, and we were like tier 3, like challenging for tier 2. So that was like, for me, it played completely differently, and it was more enjoyable. I wouldn't get on and play ranked. I would only get on to scrim or to aim train, or it plays completely differently. COD's very similar, but COD, your rank is almost like your key to go play challengers. If you're like in, I don't even know what the highest rank in COD is now, because that's how long ago it is I've played, but the top sort of 500 players in the rank leaderboard, then you'll kind of be like, oh, who's this guy? Let's try on, because he looks good. That's your key sort of thing, which is a lot better than it used to be back in the day, because back in the day it used to be who you know.
Yeah.
If you know people, it was very cliquey, whereas now it's more like an open pass, which I kind of like that idea. So I think if XDefiant was to go on that route, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing, but it would definitely be better than what the other Ubisoft game was like, where ranked's just completely like, it's more like only really playable if you're only there just to play decent players. So I'd say probably the COD one would probably be the best idea.
Okay, to where, in a sense, to where you should get top 500. It should be a must for you to kind of play.
Number one is the for me anyway.
Number one in your case. Number one in your case.
But then again, it's all about time as well. I don't have an awful lot of time. I work 40 hours a week, so it's more, I've just got to get on and win every game I play, basically, if I want to keep up there. So
do you think that's kind of I mean, I wouldn't say problematic, because I feel like that makes sense, but a lot of rank system, for example, I'm thinking of Apex, where pred is just like, you just have to play all day, every day. Like,
yes.
It's some rank systems, kind of the way they work is really like, you just play all day every day, you'll get the number ones. if you're just like just good enough and you play all day, like, yeah. But then sometimes I feel like that makes it that number one player he's not necessarily as good as it looks, because
yeah, I think Apex is probably one of the worst rank systems I've seen, mainly because of how they score, how you get score. Doesn't take away from the fact that there is good players on that leaderboard. However, there is also players that will sit in a tree until end zone and do nothing productive, except sit there and scroll down TikTok because they're Latin. So that rank system's flawed in my book. But when you play, I played Rogue Company before I played other games competitively, and when they released the rank system, I got the highest rank in like, what, 3 hours, 3 or 4, and I never touched it again, and I never played the game again after that, I don't think, because I just went, well, all right, that's me done. There's no grind aspect for me. There's nothing for me to work towards. There's nothing for me to train, unless I wanted to compete, and the comp scene in that game was very, very poor. So I just kind of gave up with that. And moved on to different things. Played Siege for a bit, and yeah. So I think ranked itself isn't always a direct representation of how good of a player you are. Sometimes it's how much time you have.
I definitely feel like that's a fair take, and I kind of want to switch back to I don't know how to call it, because I don't know if it's a team or if it's just you 4, but 4 guys XDefiant. what are we supposed to expect from this? Is this a team? Is this supposed to be like and it's something you own that you're planning on keeping with, or are you guys just looking for an org? What exactly is
it? So my guess of it all is the 4 best players in the EU looking for an org to compete and to be like tier 1, creme de la creme, best in the EU. That's the aim. Best in the EU, then best in the world. It's the Rivals and Repars were a duo, and then me and Samuel were a duo. So me and Sam, I was on an NA team for a while. With Vincenzo, Clue, and VPB. We were a team, but my time zone and the fact that I was working so long and doing these hours and stuff, I felt like the practice and the effort I would put in wouldn't be as good as those guys deserve, and kind of what I deserve as well. So parted ways with them, and then that's when this kind of came around. So me and Sam sat down and we looked through people, and then we seen Rivals and Repars, and we're like, yeah, I'll play against these guys. Like, these guys are good. They won kill races together. They've got good energy. I played against them. So we'll go with it, and then we've kind of played games and stuff like that together. And yeah, no, it's we want to be the best that there is, and we want that to continue. We want people to like watch us and go, I want to be as good as them. That's the aim.
I feel like that's definitely a great aim to have, and you already have the potential to get there. Obviously, with the four people that are in there, this is not just for randoms. This is definitely 4 of the best players in the region. So you guys have the potential for that. Do you this is side question, but what do you think about the aim assist in XDefiant when you compare to other games? Because you've played COD, you've played other games. What do you think of it?
Difficult, because I play on minus 1010 on aim assist, strength, and follow. So mine's is like the lowest it possibly can be, because it aids my movement. Because my crosshair placement's naturally kind of good because I practiced it. It's kind of like my aim assist is still there. Don't get me wrong, it is still there, but it isn't as strong. It's what it should be. It's what everybody should be. But if I play on 0-0, like, I could probably like put my controller down and it would track for me, because it is really strong. So I feel like MNK players definitely get swindled a lot of the time. But controller players, so it's going to be a controller game. That's just the way it's going to be. It's developed by controller players that they've developed COD. COD's, as much as people say COD's an MNK game, yeah, okay, maybe it was like COD 1 or COD 2, but
no, COD's full controller. COD is probably one of the biggest controller games out, at least nowadays.
Yeah.
Do you think that since the aim assist is pretty strong and everything, do you think the comp scene as well is going to be like a separated thing? Kind of the same way that, well, the COD's one is kind of unique because keyboard are actually not allowed in COD's comp scene. But do you think it's going to be the same way in XDefiant, or would you want it to be different?
I want mixed inputs, and there's a big argument that I've had for it. Why let people who are talented on a mouse and keyboard suffer and basically have no end goal because they're not allowed to compete? That's, to me, that's like segregating a complete group away from having a chance to achieve their dream. I don't understand it. Because there's plenty of MNK players I know that would probably turn me up and spit me out. So, well, I mean, Peppers is one of them. Peppers is one of the best players on the game, and he's an MNK player. Correct me if I'm wrong. Strafe an MNK player?
Yeah, Strafe is MNK as well.
Strafe is MNK. If I played Strafe on 130 ping, Strafe would have me all day. Every gunfight I'd lose. Just surely because, I've watched these clips and I'm like, this man's doing it on MK with no aim assist. Like, it's crazy. So that's like saying, yeah, no, sorry, you can't play. You can't play. You're on a mouse and keyboard. You don't have a robot aiming for you. You're not allowed to play. To me, that's dumb, and I think COD should kind of wisen up about that as well. However, it's typical to those players that can play an MK and still compete at the highest level, to me, in a game like COD or a game like XDefiant. So I think if they're good enough to play, let them play, because why are we taking groups out? It's not fair, really, is it? I mean, I know if it was me and, like, say I was really good in controller on Valorant somehow, right, and I wanted to go play Valorant on a controller, and they would turn around and go, yeah, you're not, you're crazy, you're going to get absolutely cooked. Let me get cooked. And then, do you know what I mean? It's like, what does it matter? If I'm good enough to be a pro, then I'm good enough to be a pro. It shouldn't matter what input I use.
I mean, I wholeheartedly support that, and I really hope that they don't cut it off. I haven't heard them say anything about like it being cut off, so I don't think it will happen. But you know, I know that it did before, and it's still a thing right now with COD. So I hope I hope it doesn't go through the same way. I wanna tap into movement, because we talked a little bit earlier about XDefiant movement, but I want to compare to the, there's been a flu. This is with Modern Warfare 3 especially coming out of YY movement, right? Which is you've had a take, and I seen it on Twitter the other day. You've had a take on YY movement. What's your thoughts about this?
Nah, I can't. I watched a video recently that's kind of went viral. I watched it, and I actually felt sick. Like, it was genuine motion sickness. Like, doesn't look good. Like, just stand still, move to the right, move to the left, track. Not this shit. Like, that's not following anyone. That's just making me have a sore head. That's not enjoyable to watch. And people will probably do it for the clicks and the likes and the retweets and the famous people going, yeah, no, this is really bad. And people play for that, right? Okay, fair enough, do what you want. But people who genuinely go, yeah, no, this is sick. Yeah, that's meant. I'll post that. Like, you're crazy. Like, I mean, if you get kills, you get kills. But I think when people kind of hype that up as good gameplay, and then you actually have good gameplay that gets like 3 likes on Twitter, I think it's very wrong in my eyes. However, if I die to a player like that, then I'll probably need to rethink how I'm playing, because that can't be good practice.
Do you think that XDefiant has that like potential of having that same YY movement?
Yes, I think it is already prominent. I've seen clips of people doing this, looking down at the floor and sliding and looking up and looking to the right. I'm like, you're such a free kill. You're not even looking at me. You're a free kill. There's people that have done that. I've seen montages already, and I'm just kind of like, okay, if I ever turn out like that, tell me to stop posting. I think personally, but I mean, there's plenty of people that I could probably name drop, but I'm not gonna. That's not what I'm about. That doesn't bother me. It bothers me at the fact when there's good gameplay that doesn't get recognised, but there's bad gameplay that does. In my book, it's bad gameplay, but I could, that's my opinion.
I feel like the XDefiant movement is really special as a whole already. I think that the YY movement, because I did speak on that actually on the last episode of the podcast, and I still stand on the fact that I think that it can be cool in terms of content creation, but I think that it's really bad when people bring it to comp, because it's unoptimal, and competitively, I don't think it's viable. Like, do you think that's any viable strat to like actually doing YY? And
I mean, the other bits of movement, the bunny hops, incorporating that in, brilliant. YYing, I mean, there was a bug that went around for a long time that was giving you a silent gun, and that was related to constant YYing. So we would know who the bug abusers were in the scene. Like, we knew straight away, because it was initiated by YYing too much. But a lot of COD players do that just on habit. I do it. Sometimes I do it on habit. It's now fixed, I think, but the constant YYing thing was causing a bug in XDefiant. So that's where I kind of was like, yeah, no, if I see somebody with silent gun bug, I know they're either a COD player or they know how to abuse a bug. So I think it's not really viable in comp for moving like that and doing things like that. But as you say, for content creation, yeah, I get how people could find that fun to look at. I mean, me personally, I like to see what I'm looking at. So that's like my sort of thing. I like to be able to appreciate something like that. But I watched that guy earlier, and he was just spinning in circles. It was like a Beyblade, and I was like, can I like try and see who you've actually killed before I start spinning in circles? And I genuinely felt sick. Like, that's not even a reaction. I genuinely felt like I was on a roller coaster looking down. Like, it's crazy.
That's I feel like that's really funny to hear from your point of view, because you're one of the top players, so you saying this is like, yeah, bro, this is not it. We've talked a bit about the com side and everything, but I want to say, because XDefiant is like, right now, at least as it seems, it's kind of fighting with the newer releases of other games like the finals.
Yeah.
Do you think that they might lose out on players because of that?
Yeah, I think the full community knows that the optimal time for them to release is past. Like that's sort of past. I think a majority of the scene kind of lost a bit of hope, I guess, in a way. I mean, I haven't. I still know that the game will release, and I'll have fun, and I still want to grind and be the best. That's not changed for me, because the game itself hasn't changed for me. A lot of people hated the last test. I didn't mind it. I still played this. I still done the same numbers I usually do. Still had the same amount of fun. There was inconsistency, sure. The desync was kind of annoying, but I've had to put up with that for months and months. So I'm numb to that now. But I think a lot of people have kind of seen these other games like the finals, because I played the finals, the alpha, and I really enjoyed it. I never got a chance to play the codes beta, but I really enjoyed it. I like the movement, I like the mechanics, and a lot of people see that because it's different. It's completely different to other games, and I like that aspect of it. I think a lot of people kind of doing the whole COD dick riding thing as well as that's fine. Let them ride that train, because as soon as XDefiant comes out, players will get sick of COD and want to play XDefiant, and that works in their favour as well. So because if they would release it before COD, then everybody's going to play it for a weekend and go to COD. Whereas now they've kind of got that, oh, there's another game out, I'm sick, I've died like 5 times. I've died like 5 times in a row on whatever map, I want to go play a new game. And then they'll go find XDefiant, which is free to play. The influx of players will just go through the roof. So, yeah, no, I think I think it's missed out on its optimal time. However, its time for success hasn't passed yet.
So there's still a lot of hope and a lot of possibilities for XDefiant, essentially.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I feel like that's a nice thing, because I did hear, like you said, I did hear negative thoughts on this from other people, saying that it's kind of it's over. There's not XDefiant really passed. But I do think the game itself is, as a core, is it's a really good game. I think that the class or specialist, whatever they're called, I don't know exactly how they're called, but I think that's a cool addition, because it's implemented very well, and I feel like not a lot of people talk about that. Like I don't know how you feel about the different characters and abilities, because there is abilities in the end in these games. Like what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I went through a phase of being a lib by Vida, so that was like my creme de la creme. Like that was like, oh, I'm never changing character. And then I realised, she's not, after the nerfs, like she's not actually like that good anymore. She's still viable, but she's not that good. All you need is an EMP, or kill faster or run cleaner. Like because that completely stops the health regen. So I ran cleaner quite a lot in the last test. I think he was like cleaner and phantom. So I've kind of dabbled with phantom, and phantom's more AR based, but for linear maps, so your escorts and zone control, like I would play an AR, ACR and stuff like that. So the characters are viable depending on your playstyle. I think, I mean, DedSec is pretty underpowered at the minute. but I think DedSec will become more and more viable as more and more characters get released. So, because obviously his ability being hacking and stuff like that, and spider bots are annoying, but once you get the kind of being able to time it, hit the spider, pretty useless really. But I think once people figure that out, then he's pretty underpowered in that regard. But I mean, Libertad's going to be Libertad. People are going to use it for clips and whatever. Cleaner's the same. Phantom's good. Echelon's very different. The pistol's obviously the funnest part about it, but I quite like the camo. You can do a fair bit of plays. That was the first character I used. Was the camo, because I would be able to do kind of weird and wonderful plays.
Yep.
And then when Lib got released, that was it for me. I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not dying now. That's it. I'll just run and shoot. But look, I love the characters, I love the concepts. They've taken kind of good ones from COD. Like I'd like to see some newer, kind of fresher Ubisoft ideas, like the Blitz Shield and stuff that they're going to be adding. I mean, that's already been leaked. That's been leaked for ages. So the shield ops, the shield op for Phantom, that's sort of Siege related in a way. They're adding Blitz and Jaeger, I believe, from Siege as well. So like an ADS.
Yep.
Which takes obviously the trophies from COD, but has that little twist to it. It has something that's going to be able to kind of change the way you play the game. So, look, they've got an absolute sea of characters that they can use. They're not limited to like releasing like a brand new faction. They've got characters that people will want to play, and it'll keep it varied. You know, people will want to play the Splinter Cell characters. People want to play the Siege characters. You know, there's lots of variation, and they've done really well with linking it together. So, look, the possibilities are sort of endless for Ubisoft. It just depends how they approach them. If they approach them in the wrong way, then they'll lose players. If they approach them in the right way, they'll gain players. It's the ball's in their court, and it depends on what they want to do with it.
I couldn't have said it any better. Definitely, because Ubisoft has a lot of things, and I think the other thing about Ubisoft is Rainbow Six is like, I feel like it's kind of, you know, it's not underrated, but I feel like people kind of, you know, either they played it before, they forgot about it, but it's still very big, and their esport is like huge, and it works really well. And I feel like that's why I have so much hype for XDefiant, is because since it's Ubisoft based, and Ubisoft can, you know, they've shown that they're able to make comp scenes and leagues that are as big as the Rainbow one. XDefiant has a lot of potential. It has a lot of potential.
Yeah, there's lots of possibilities for them.
I wanna touch up on you know, to leave the gaming just for a bit. You did say, or you told me, this is before I started recording, but you did say you worked as a prison guard. How the hell do you go from prison guard to gaming? how do you make the transition every day?
So I mean, our job's quite stressful. Yeah, there's lots of intangibles that can take part of my day. Some days are better than others, and then other days you just kind of want to curl up in a ball and go to sleep. So it's gaming is like a very vital part to my routine, because it's what I love to do. Like if I had the choice, I would probably drop that at the tip of the hat and come play this forever, because this is like my safe space. This is like what makes me feel like me. So coming home from work and being able to play a couple of days like kind of lets me switch off, because I kind of struggle with leaving everything at the door. I come home and I think about things that have happened and what I could have done better that day, because that's just who I am. That's how I get better. That's how I grow. So coming home and being able to like load up and play a game and just completely either immerse myself or take myself away from it and be around friends helps. So it's all about switching off, being able to like kind of change the way I think, not think about what's happening in there. Like I'm away from there, it doesn't matter. But here is what matters to me now. So that's the way I think about it.
And I mean, that's definitely a good way. And gaming being your kind of de-stress. You know, I feel like that's what makes it your zone and everything.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to ask, you know, what do we expect for the future of Trzppy? What do you have in mind that you want to achieve? You know.
I mean, I love like doing my montages and stuff because I mean that kind of shows off what I can do, and it shows how far I've progressed as well. Like I look back on them, like I'll watch myself and I'll go, like, you should have done this differently, or you should have done that differently, and I'll go, you know what, I'll incorporate this, I'll do this, I'll do that. So it's like, it's almost like watching my clips back is almost like my own personal VOD review. Like
kind of like a VOD review.
and it kind of I don't know, hypes me up, gives me my confidence boost, gives me like a bit of a, because I mean a lot of players play off their confidence, so that to me that's my confidence. So a lot of content creation. YouTube was something I wanted to start, and I mean I have on and off. A lot of the time it's motivation for me, so I like watching other content creators and watching how they do it and asking for advice and tips, etc. Serali is another big kind of content creator. He does really well for himself, works really hard, and he's given me a lot of tips and advice on how to kind of further my content creation. So Sarah's been a big help in that regard. Yourself, obviously, editing the montages has been a big help as well because I can't edit for shit. As much as I kind of I sit and I'm like, okay, let's do this, and then there you go, look, it's exactly what I wanted, and it's not, and it's really bad. But having like that, like you editing my stuff for me and being able to watch it as I want to see it, is something that kind of pops and something that kind of goes, yeah, no, this is sick, something that's different. So I mean, content creation, yeah. But comp for 100% is like my aim. Like I want to be able to like I visualize myself doing well. It's sort of visualization, something that a lot of athletes use, and to me that's what I kind of see myself. I see myself sort of doing well and progressing and getting better and better every day. So it's putting it into practice a lot of the time, and giving myself that time and doing well and having good people in my circle kind of helps that as well.
That's I mean I have a site, and I know that you know you have a lot in front of you, not only because of what you already did, and you've already kind of achieved certain things already, like being up top on the leaderboards and everything, but as a player, obviously, since I did edit your stuff, I do see your gameplay and how you play. I think it's always special whenever you send me clips, because it's really nice. It's really nice to see. It's really nice to watch, to edit. It's nice to see the way you play, or the way you approach the game is I'd say, like, in a way, kind of methodical, and at the same time it's fast. Right, it's really fast. So that's really cool. Honestly, that kind of clears for the main points that I wanted to talk about today. I want to say socials. Is it Trzppy? It's with a Z. That I know it's TRZ, PPY. Is that it on all socials, or is it different?
On my Twitter it's TRZ PPY. On my Twitch it's TRZ PPY _. That's pretty much all I use, really. So yeah.
So I'll put everything on screen anyways. But I want to thank you for being a part of the podcast, for being on the 5th episode, and that's pretty much it, honestly.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me. Very appreciate it. Loved our conversations.
For sure. I do hope, because I'm planning on a lot of things. I feel like I'll keep this as a little blooper at the end, but I'm planning on a lot of things for the podcast, and like kind of branches that I wanna go into as well. So things like debates and things like that. So I'll probably have you back on, because I feel like you're gonna be necessary in defending your stance for XDefiant.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what.
So I appreciate you once again. Thank you, everybody, for watching today's podcast. I will see you guys in, I don't know, 2 weeks or something like that, or a week. That's it.